Shalom, family. Peace and blessings. First all rise, giving perfect praises to Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, and justice. Honors to illustrious, industrious Prophet Muhammad Ali to return to us everything that is Moorish, everything we need, everything we must have to be sustained as a nation. First all rise, giving praises to Allah, the infinite, the wonder, incomprehensible, the infinite, the wise, the all-knowing. Also for the most immortal prayer, Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, and justice. Allah is our protector and guide and our salvation by night and by day. Through His great prophet, Ali. Wow. Our topics on these shows are very important, and we always have to take into consideration, what are we doing? What are we doing, family?
Remember the Flintstones? This guy always thought it was possible to have a car like that family. He imagined it.
Yeah, well, I just want people to really start thinking. And it's like the only way to do that is start asking questions. Asking questions will grant you tools you'll need to survive. Asking questions will shatter your curiosity of what's truly going on. The more questions you ask, the better answers you get. But at the end of the day, we don't do enough thinking for ourselves. So, all we gotta do is just start thinking, family. Start asking ourselves, what are we doing What are we doing to survive? Are we growing our own food? Are we learning for ourselves? And the name of the show is called Save Yourself. And you probably wondering, why is there a show like that? What's the brother's angle? That's the question we'd ask. What are we doing to save ourselves? Are we gathering food? I'm not talking about canned food because that's just straight European poison. I can't stress it enough that the people are not, the common people say that common sense exists, and common sense should tell you thus and so and thus and so, but common sense is not common to the common people because they're not thinking to save themselves. They think they can just do these things that the United States corporation tells you to do, but yet and still they're giving you information on to stack up on 90-day supply worth of food. But not those exact words, but to say stack up on food. For the natural disaster. But they're already telling you what's going on, but how many people are like taking heed and listening? Again, the name of the show is called Save Yourself. I'm about to take a pause right quick. I see we got two people in the chat. We got Kaylee. She says, "What's up?" Uh, the Heavenly Thoughts. That's what's up. Miguel says, "What's up?" Miguel. Um, we're not going to tolerate no profanity on my channel. So if you're going to ask a question and talk amongst yourself, that's fine. But we're not going to be doing no cussing, okay? This is not tolerated. And that's a warning. And if you don't, and if anybody don't want to take heed to the rules, y'all can leave. But anyways, back to what I was saying. The problem we are having in today's society is that a lot of people don't want to respect each other because they feel like they can just say whatever they feel. But what you say, what you feel, is not always accurate. So now the question is, are you going to uplift someone by speaking nice, intelligent tone and giving information and wanting for the people as you want for yourself and wanting for your loved ones as you love yourself? Last I checked, that was a tip part of the Ten Commandments. It says, one of the Ten Commandments says, what does that Ten Commandments say again? It says, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. No, that's not one of them. Dang. It's right at the tip of my tongue, too. Right at the tip of my thoughts. But love thy neighbor as you love thyself. Well, we're gonna go with the John chapter 14, verse 15. If you love me, you'll keep my commandments. That's what the Bible says. But the one of the Ten Commandments says, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. Well, in order to demonstrate love, there shouldn't be no toxic words that come out of anybody's mouth. And this is what I know. I'm not going to say words that are slander or defamation of character. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to utter those things. Because what you say can trigger someone's thoughts and it can cause a brutal physical fight. And I'm here to not get into any type of altercation with anybody. I'm here to speak the truth. Now, if you don't think of you're going to be all right for the next 5-6 years and you're going to have a good lavish lifestyle, you're going to have all these things, and you're going to have your house, you're going to have your car, you're going to have your wife and children and your husband and all this other stuff, that's all good. But the way things is going on right now, no, that's not happening. The executive order has already been signed in this past January. And basically, United States government corporation is going to collect. And you're probably wondering, Brother Morris Life, what do you mean by that? Well, they come in to collect the people. And they're going after everybody. They don't care if you're white, so-called white, off-white, black. They don't care. They don't care if you're Native American. Native American is, listen, Native American is not a nationality. And no disrespect to the tribes of Sioux and Cheyenne and Aztec and Cherokee and so on and so on. There's no disrespect towards them. But if you haven't proclaimed your nationality and you claim Blackfoot, that doesn't sound right to me. Versus if you look in the United Nations, Blackfoot, Cherokee, Sioux, and all them one etc. are not American tribes. Those specific people who are of so-called Native American are of Moorish descendant. They're Moorish Americans. The so-called Negro, blacks, and colors, Latino, Chicano, Hispanic, and wow. It just, I'm very baffled about how they come up with these ignorant names. Then they come up with Puerto Rican. Like, really? Do you know what Porto means in Spanish? I will repeat myself. Porto means port or harbor. Okay, so now how do you fix a harbor or port? Oh, you get some cement, you make a big brick wall, you make it by hand or whatever, and basically you put it, you know what I'm saying, you have to even it out and blah blah blah, so on and so on and so on. Now you have yourself a port where a boat can come up and dock, and to be able to take off the live cargo or unload people. That's what a harbor is. That's what a port is. A port or harbor is not even alive, it's dead. But when people start talking about Puerto Ricans or black, yeah, black according to science means death, is being redundant. But now the question is, what are you doing to proclaim your nationality? Because they looking for the... Okay, let me break it down to the people who really don't know what's going on with the whole Donald Trump thing. Donald Trump was supposed to bring the executive order, so he's basically following the same steps that Barack Obama did to a certain degree. Barack Obama came out with the executive order for so-called Negro, blacks, and coloreds, and Puerto Ricans, and people from Guam, and to proclaim nationality. Now Donald Trump is enforcing it. He's enforcing it because the Rothschild Rockefellers, the 13 family bankers, are willing to see who is in law and who is not in law. And you probably wondering, Moorish life, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is that once the Moorish Americans all rise and start following the divine constitution and bylaws, that means that once ICE has got all the immigrants, and I'm not referring to immigrants as far as people from Central America, Mexico, and South America. No, those are not immigrants. Central America is America. South America is America. It's just Central America and South America are different nations. That's what y'all need to understand. So you can't say, the European powers that be cannot say that, oh, the people from Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, they're all immigrants. Well, you cannot be an immigrant on your own land that's called America. I don't care whether you call it North, Central, or South America. Come on, family, get it right. The only people who are immigrants are the ones who came from Asia and the ones that came from Europe. And so on and so on. But the real immigrants came into power after the Peace and Friendship Treaty was signed in 1786. The Sultan of Morocco. In Morocco. Africa. Really. For real, for real. I don't see Ethiopia and all the other nations of Africa recognize America as a nation. I don't see Great Britain or Europe recognizing America as a nation. And please do not go there with me about the whole Amerigo Vespucci thing. He's from Germany. How did he get the maps? How he gonna be a map maker? That's the question. Islam, be back in a minute, family. All right, family. You need to start asking yourself, why do the people in power who are Europeans gonna come over here and tell you and re-identify you under a Christian black code or ethnicity that takes away from your true nationality? You need to ask yourself this question. What nation do the Puerto Ricans represent? What nation does the people from Guam represent? What nation does the so-called Negro, black, colored, Afro-American, African-American? What nation do they represent? You need to ask yourself these questions. Let's go with Latino. Where is the Latino flag? Where is the Chicano flag? Where is the Hispanic flag? ETC. Where is the flag for the white people? Obviously, Slim Shady really didn't stand up. But I'm just saying to say this, that y'all really need to start doing some thinking. I'm going to say it once, I'm going to say it again. How is it that the group of people who came from the caves of Europe or Europa going to dictate to you and going to tell you what you can and cannot do? But America is supposed to be about freedom, but they don't represent America. They represent the District of Columbia. They got all these paper certificates with everyone's name on there who signed up for the birth certificate. Well, then again, here we go. Y'all want to say, well, if I don't sign the birth certificate, I'm going to be put in jail and all this other stuff. Or I got to do it so that way my son or child can go to school. That is not true. How? Oh, if my child don't get immunized, they can't go to school. Now, why would you put poison in your baby for? Do you know what those immunization shots do for the baby? It messes up, it jacks up their immune system. That's what really happens. I can't make it up. I'm going to call the facts what it is, not what it seems to be. Everybody out there who's everybody, in order for you to get rid of all that stuff out your system, you have to detox. Leave the regular cow's milk alone. Give that back to the farmer European. Give him back his bacon and sausage and everything that has anything to do with pig. Give that back to him. Anything that has anything without scales or fins, give that back to him. Render unto Caesar which is his, and give unto God Allah which is his. There are certain things that we really truly do not take into consideration, all because we have been indoctrinated. This is what they told us. They make law and we don't even vote on it. They pass a law that we have no knowledge of. So all of a sudden now here comes this way of thinking called compulsive behavior. This particular compulsive behavior is being forced upon us because if we're supposed to cast a vote on a law or whatever, how come we're not doing that but they're pushing it on us? Does these so-called laws benefit the people? How? How are they keeping order when they're ordering people to say it's a lawful order to do this, a lawful order to do that? Okay, if it's a lawful order for me to show you my ID, how come you don't show me your ID? How come you haven't identified yourself? Why should I identify myself and I haven't done nothing wrong? And if I haven't done nothing wrong and you can't recite law, then you are basically just straight ignorant to the law, because penal codes are not law. No, I will not sign your ticket. No, I don't accept your ticket. I do not consent to the stop, and I do not consent to the harassment in violation of my First Amendment. This is what you tell them. This is how you save yourself. And the only way you can save yourself, and please, I'm telling y'all, to save yourself is start thinking. And don't say the flesh and bones did it to me, or my flesh is sin. How did your flesh break the law? How did your flesh skin break the law? We didn't put no thought to it. So all of a sudden you just sitting there, you broke the law. What law have you broken? Then who is that that's on the coin? Caesar. Then render unto Caesar which is his. Right? Caesar, Rome, Europe. That means give them back their homosexuality, their LGBTQ. Give them back all their Roman statues and all this other stuff about being romantic and all this other stuff. And then the whole Cupid thing is just, are you serious? That's pedophilia right there. You got a half-naked baby with some wings and got a bow and arrow that represents archery. Are you serious? How? None of that stuff makes any sense to me. Do you ever ask yourself, why does everybody else prosper and they got nationality and culture and I don't? But they're making a living, they doing good for themselves. They got this store, they got that store. What do we have? We don't have anything. All we have is gangbanging, sagging the pants, mistreating your mama, mistreating the woman that you're with, calling her all types of derogatory names. The same derogatory names that you call her on a plantation is the same thing that your slaveholder called you on a plantation. He called you the N-word, but you have a problem when anybody who's pale skin use that word. But you ain't stopping that same brother who either lighter hue, olive melanin skin, or darker than you. You're not telling him to stop calling you that, but it's okay when you talk amongst yourselves, and that's supposed to be okay. But when you get angry at somebody, you're so quick to use that word loosely to the point where you don't even have no self-control, and that's supposed to be your nigga. Come on now. But he turned his back on you, and you don't even know him from a can of paint, but you're going to shoot him anyway because he's wearing the wrong color and the wrong gun. What sense does that make? Red, white, and blue, Jack and his crew. I can't make it up. I only say this, and I go live, and I come correct every single time with the truth. And if I make a mistake, or I misled or misquoted something, or I missaid something, that means I'm going to stand corrected, because that's the kind of brother I am. Your brother Morris Life, that is who I be. We really got to start thinking. We can't let nobody do the thinking for us. We cannot allow the media or social media to do the thinking for us. Sect the difference between truth and falsehood. What's real and what's fake? Is that fake like the young lady's eyelashes, or the fake Indian weave in her hair? If she's fake, then she makes Barbie look real. But at the end of the day, you all got to make a decision on what you're going to do. Are you going to be able to proclaim your nationality? Yes or no? You have to ask that question. That's what you have to do. There's nothing else but to do that. Do you realize when you proclaim nationality, you uplift your self-esteem? You uplift your state of mind. You uplift your state of mind where you don't accept nothing derogatory anymore. That's life. When are we going to start thinking for ourselves? That's the question. When are you going to start thinking for yourself? When are you going to stop letting the social media start doing the thinking for you? Oh, you're going to see a woman, she got fake Indian hair, fake eyelashes. How is that desirable? But yet and still, you're not even saving yourself to think, is this woman going to be right for me? I can't see a woman for who she truly is, but she got to wear up all that makeup and stuff. Okay, it's all good and everything. You get your nails done and manicure, pedicure. But the hair thing, the Indian hair thing gotta go. The fake eyelashes gotta go. If it's not yours, don't wear it. If you put fake eyelashes in your eyes, that means it's going in fake Indian hair that being cut off from somebody else, and you're accepting their spirits, and you wonder why you were Jezebel. I said it, Jezebel. Call the facts what it is, yo. You cannot sit here and continue to keep putting yourself down in the same category. Yes, we all suffer slavery. Yes, we all suffer PTSD. But the question is, what are you doing for yourself to get yourself out of that situation? What are you doing? Have you decided to make a plan? Have you decided to plot what you gonna do? How you gonna navigate? How you gonna do this? How you gonna do that? Okay, I got this deficit going on with my finances or whatever. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep working until I get it paid up. That's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna try to find me another gig. I can make me a little extra money on the side that's legitimate, and I can be able to pay my rent in advance. Then that means once I pay my rent in advance, I can do as I please. Say what you like. That's what Humpty Hump say. That's what Digital Underground do. What you like. And you do what you like, but it ain't always gonna be right. A poor thinking comes with poor results. Good thinking comes with good results. Of course, you're going to be tested on both sides, but now your faith is going to be tested. Forget belief. Belief is like, oh, I believe. You believe, but what do you believe in? If you think it perhaps is truth, you think 2 times 2 perhaps is 4. You think 2 times 5 is perhaps 10. Perhaps, I mean, I'm guessing. I don't know. And this is where the people are at right now. The common people are at the guessing mode. They're still in belief. And then they got to go audacity, come talk to me, your brother man Moore's life. Talking about, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, belief is the same thing as faith. No. Belief is what man thinks perhaps is truth. Faith is what man knows is truth. If you know your name is John Paul Cornelius or whatever, right? Then you know that's your name. You have faith. You know that 2 times 2 is 4. And you don't even have to guess it because you know it. Man knows not by being told. Man knows ought by being taught the correct way. Ought means everything. Naught means nothing. These are the things that everybody must understand. In order to get to where you need to have a better lifestyle and not continue to work for the man, and the man is the one who's taking all your resources away from you, to hijack your land, gave it to his people, and pushed the other people who are indigenous away and said, we're going to give you a reservation, but then again, we're going to make sure that you're secure. Your government's going to protect you. Yes. What government is that? Is it the United States of America government or the Republic? No. What government is it? Is it the United States corporation government? Represents democracy? Yes. So where do you think that all this funding coming from Native American tribes come from? It comes from the government. They sold out. That's what happened. They sold out. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery. I can't make it up. I can't make it up. What are you doing to better your condition and state of mind? Man who seeks a woman to be his wife, who is good to him, and vice versa, seeketh a good thing. Man who seeketh a woman to be his wife, and he completes her other half of her way of life, and she completes the other half of his way of life, according to the second part I said, comes from the Holy Quran of Mecca, where it says that the wife completes the man's deen, the way of life. So, if that's the case, then that eliminates the boyfriend, girlfriend. That eliminates homosexuality, same-sex relationships, so-called. That eliminates lesbianism. That eliminates pedophilia. That eliminates bestiality and all these things that are abomination to Allah. And no man should be walking around with woman's garment anyways. No woman should be walking around wearing men's garment anyways. To me, I'm going to be honest with you. I love women. I do. But when I see a woman dressing up like looking like a dude like me, That's a turnoff. And then want to talk with that raunchy voice, and then put extra emphasis on, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Okay, no, we do not, men do not exaggerate and put extras on it now unless we have to. Women are emotional, true. But the only time they put extra emphasis on it is when they have to. And that's very rare that they do that. Now, when you have a transgender man, so-called, to woman, so-called, he put too much effort, extra emphasis on walking and all this stuff. You can tell the difference. A woman's body type is different from a man. You can tell the difference. Keeping it real. When are the brothers and sisters out there going to start doing thinking for themselves? Why? Because the school media, the media, the president, Barack Obama, and all them ones, you know what I'm saying, commit orgies and all that stuff. And orgies meaning like Hollywood swingers. They're married, but then again, they sleep with other people's wives and husbands and stuff. They sleep with the same sex, which commit adultery. Not going to inherit Allah's kingdom unless you don't even purify yourself and clean yourself up. And not choose to change for the better, but you change it for the worse. You choose not to reproduce yourself, but you want to be with the same sex. Are you serious right now? But yet still you want to go take someone else's child that's in child protective services. Take someone else's child, adopt that child, and make that child your own. That's not normal. Child protective services, speaking of child protective services, I'm about to go there. Child protective services commit more laws to commit more crime because you know why? They do human trafficking. Of innocent children. Some of the children are not innocent. But instead of them going after the ones who are causing the problem, they rather go after the ones who are innocent. Well, you ever heard of that terminology called innocent until proven guilty? No, you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. So how does that make sense when there's no proof or any evidence that you have done wrong or body harm to the child, but yet you're guilty because all of a sudden now this is hearsay? Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And that's what they're doing. They bear false witness against thy neighbor. Neighbor doesn't necessarily mean that you are living next to someone that's your neighbor. It can just be the person you met who lives down the street from you. Or whatever the case may be. Or they say in another city, another nation. That's a neighbor. Why not? Neighbor doesn't always mean that you live close together. That's not always the case. Because some neighbors are just nonchalant. Nonchalant, and a lot of them are introverts. They don't like talking to other people. Excuse me. That's going to be a sound of catastrophe. But sound's going to sound worse than that. But what I have to say to you is this. Every time someone goes out and they're trying to provide for their family, and the only people who have the power to destroy the economic system is the Rockefeller family and the Rothschilds, because they control the banking system all over the world. There's no so-called Negro, black, or colored controlling the banking system all over the world. No. It's not them. Why, you may ask? Because there's the so-called Negro, blacks, and colors don't have that many resources to have access to boats, planes, and etc. They don't have that access like that. And the ones that do have like access like that are your P. Diddy's and your Ushers and You know what I'm saying? Your Genuines and etc. How you gonna get rich that fast over music? But again, everything just goes around to thinking, family. Now, what are you doing to better your condition? What are you doing to save yourself instead of following these celebrities and following their music, but all in all, you worship the devil? Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, you know, I mean, there's artists that I do like. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just getting burnt out right now. I truly am. And I'm burnt out on every last one of them because of the simple fact that they are just straight evil. They may sing songs and do all this other stuff to make you feel comfortable and all this other stuff and put you in the mood to go do some miraculous conception thing and go have a date and go have a girlfriend or whatever and not make her your wife, and you be all of a sudden you just wasting your time and following everything that you see on TV and social media, and all it is just a distraction. But then again, it all goes back to asking a question. What are they doing to save themselves? They don't care about you. They gonna get paid regardless. Sodom and Gomorrah, Hollywood swingers, all of this stuff going on. Your Pulp Fiction, dude getting sodomized in the movie. Dude getting sodomized in the Dr. Dre video, Dre Day or whatever. I mean, come on now, seriously? You watch the movie Last Dragon, you see a transgender in there. You see Can't Buy Me Love. You see another transgender almost towards the end of the movie. I mean, come on now. They ain't put all this stuff in front of you. They put a transgender in a movie called Moving with Richard Pryor. And Dana Carey or something like that, whatever that one's name is. And they put him as a woman. Your Mrs. Doubtfires and all this other stuff in your Medeas. What are they doing to uplift you? Where are they teaching you? Where are the morals? There is no morals. Because a person who has morals will not do things to harm themselves. Nor they will do things to neuter themselves. Anytime someone alters their body, they have went against the laws of Allah. There's no coming back after that. Once you have destroyed your body, you have turned your back on Allah, and you have officially worshipped Diablo, the devil. You call it the facts, what it truly is, not what it seems to be. Not my personal feelings. No, it will never be that. Let me ask you this one question, family. How can two men come together and sleep together as if they're a man and woman and all of a sudden become pregnant? Through anal sex, through sodomy. How can two women come together and either make a dildo or whatever and put a strap on, but the only pleasure she's getting is from the dildo, not the woman? And how do you expect to reproduce yourself? All I'm looking at is two electrical plugs that have the male. And you put those things together. I'm sorry, there's no electricity happening. So that means that there's nothing producing. You can't take two ends of the adapter that's flat, and you can't put them two together, and you cannot create anything either. So that makes it non-covalent bonding. No ionic bonding whatsoever. There is no bonding. So in order to reproduce yourself, is you need a few components. You need male, man, and woman to reproduce yourself, which creates the ankh. The ankh represents the ovaries. The one that goes across represents the fallopian tubes, where the man goes in and ejaculates inside of a woman, and the sperm goes to the fallopian tubes to be able to hit the ovary to be able to hatch the egg in order to reproduce yourself. That is the order of life, because the book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 and 27 says, I have made you man and woman. I have made you man and woman. Now go be fruitful and multiply. There you go. There's nothing wrong with that scripture, but it seems like to me the LBGTQ always taking the Bible and want to twist the words around to make it seem like their way is the only way. And it's not. What happens when two women come together and they adopt a child? And is a boy growing up. So they ask, excuse me, knock on the door. Excuse me, ma'am. How you doing? Everything okay? Oh, there's a child here. The child opens the door. Excuse me, may I speak to your mother? And he replies, which one? That's the problem we're having. A mother, two women can't come together and produce a baby. Two men can't come together and produce a baby. And I don't care what TLC be talking about as far as my pregnant husband. How is that possible? First and foremost, in order for a person to have a baby, he must have these key ingredients. They must have fallopian tubes. They must have a uterus. They must have an ovary. They must have these things to be able to produce a baby. So if a man is lacking of those things, then that means that he cannot produce a baby. That means that's a woman pertaining to be a man, and basically, in other words, she got ejaculated with some sperm or whatever, and all of a sudden now is pregnant. Babylon insanity. That's what it truly is. And guess what? Nobody's paying attention. Nobody cares. Let them do as they must. It's okay. That's what the media says. And we don't want to know how we have a problem because people don't want to reproduce themselves. If this keeps going on the way it does, guess what's going to end up happening? The species of the human race, as far as Asiatic people, is going to go down to zero. So that the people who are Greeks and Romans and Europeans who promote this homosexuality and this bestiality and this zoology or whatever it is you want to call it, and pedophilia, my gosh, I don't know what to say about y'all. So now the question is the LGBTQ community going to save you when the catastrophe hit? Is Hollywood going to save you when a catastrophe hit? Is your person, your head person in your religious organization going to save you? No. You're still looking for Jesus to come, but he already came back. In North Carolina, 1886, that's when he came back. He was already here, and he departed. He left already. He's no longer with us. That Jesus you talking about, he ain't coming back either. The Asiatic Jesus, the one who was of of Asiatic Moorish descendant, he already came back for his people already. So now what are you doing? What are you doing to save yourself? Don't look for your girlfriend to save you because there's nothing she can do. Do you realize that there's many cases out there and with situations where a man has already children already and he has a girlfriend and his girlfriend is worthless to him because once the children go in child protective services, there's nothing she can do about it. Boyfriend and girlfriend, domestic partner, there's nothing they can do about it. Nothing. Zero. What are they going to do? Say, I think you should get the children back. They're not going to even talk to the girlfriend. You know why? Because she is not his wife and she's out of law. When are you guys going to start thinking for yourself? When are you going to get on your Brother Man Moore's Life channel and listen to what's really going on? You know how many children are being abducted for human sacrifice and for blood and organ donating and all this other stuff to keep the Rothschild Rockefellers alive? Plenty. And guess who's coming up missing? The young ones. What are you doing to save yourself? What are you doing to study and show yourself approved? Are you going to continue to listen to the preacher man? Going to tell you and dictate to you with the indoctrination on what to think, how to think, and all this other stuff? And all he doing is pimping you and collecting money from you? And there's nothing you can do about it, because if you don't pay your tithes and offerings, you ain't going to heaven. Where does it say that in the Bible? Oh, Sunday is Jesus' day. Show me that in the scripture. I'll wait. Show me that in the scripture. Another thing that a lot of people do not follow is cliches that represent righteousness. If it's raining hard outside, then they're going to come with the Johnny-come-lately demonstration. They'll come with the fraudulent demonstration and say, oh, it's raining cats and dogs. Where? Where they fall from the sky? Please. Dismiss me with that falsehood and indoctrination. You ever notice that a proverb that comes from African, so-called African people, or Asian people, or islanders, they say stuff that makes sense, but when it comes from a European, it makes zero sense whatsoever? Now, let me ask you this question. Who is the white people, and where do they come from? What nation? Who is the black people, and where do they come from? And what's their nationality? The only way you're going to get out of the situation, family, is studying with Moorish Americans. To get to the level of portion of understanding that I have, is you have to study. Things you always got to keep your cup halfway empty, or a quarter, or 75% empty. Now I need y'all to start researching. If you don't understand the Dred Scott decision, I strongly suggest you look it up. March 6, 1857. Spencer versus Sundry case, 1855. What do they have in common? And why does one vote go the other way? Next question you want to ask yourself, what does the word emancipate mean? All this stuff you have to know. Think about it. So now the question everybody must ask themselves, what are you doing to save yourself? That's the question. Nothing else. The question you need to ask yourself is, where is your 9-day supply worth of food? Where is your water? Where is... How you gonna wash your clothes? Right? When the lockdown happens, and people are gonna be outside fighting over food and gonna try to run the car through the grocery stores to get food, and there's nothing left, and you got military soldiers out, you're gonna try to go over and get some fast food, but that's not gonna happen. And now you're gonna be stuck in a situation that you can't even get out of. You're gonna be eating your own flesh. And so there's gonna be some type of zombie apocalypse. And you're not gonna be ready for it. But that's what gonna be for our show for today. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali said it best: if I can't save you, then no one can. But if I can get you to think, you can save yourself. That's what he said. So y'all keep in mind of what you gotta do to save yourself in everything that you do. That's what y'all gotta do. Seriously. There's nothing else to do but to solve the problem and ask for help and come up with solutions. That's what it's truly about. Nothing else. And once you come to the conclusion of what you can do to save yourself, then you can make things happen. But other than that, it's all about what you want to do to better your condition. But now you got all these things that you must do to better your condition, but now you have no idea what you got yourself into. To better your condition, but now